Oh, you guys. When Prince Harry stepped back into the UK this time, it wasn't like a royal prince making a grand homecoming. No, not even close. He walked in like a man on a desperate mission, not to reunite, not to reconcile, but to survive. And honestly, it showed on his face. There were no crowds cheering, no flashbulbs going off, no Meghan walking by his side like old times. Just Harry, alone. The same country that once embraced him like their golden boy now watched him like he was just another faded tabloid headline. And that silence around him? Oh, it was loud, deafening, because deep down, everyone knew why he was really there. Behind those cold palace doors, the meetings weren't warm or emotional. They were short, stiff, and painfully formal. No hugs, no breakthroughs, just polite words like strangers at a business table. Because let's be real, the royal family might smile for cameras, but they never forgot. The Oprah interview, the memoir, the Netflix bombshells, the endless digs Harry threw at them from across the ocean. You can't just sweep that kind of damage under a rug with tea and biscuits. And let me tell you, the palace has been slowly cutting him off. King Charles isn't looking at Harry like a son anymore. He's looking at him like a PR risk, a financial liability. No one's handing out millions to someone who spent years painting the monarchy as toxic. That out of love grace period, it's over. This time the palace doors didn't swing open. They barely even creaked. Harry might have walked in hoping for some support, maybe pitching an idea, maybe a lifeline. But what he got was nothing. No deal, no support, not even a photo op. Just an empty seat on a flight back to California and the brutal reality that the monarchy is moving forward, with or without him. And the sting, it wasn't just personal. It was public. Everyone saw it. The once rebel prince who said he wanted nothing to do with the royals now looked like a desperate businessman chasing investors who've already walked away. Let's be honest, Harry and Meghan were once the ultimate rebel royals. They left everything behind, captured the world's sympathy, became Hollywood's golden couple. Netflix adored them. Spotify signed them. They were the shiny new thing. But now, that glow has faded. Netflix magic's gone. Spotify dropped them. And the content, well, dry. Meghan didn't even show up for this UK trip, and that said everything. It wasn't random. It was strategic. She wasn't walking back into that frost. She left Harry to face it alone, and alone. He looked vulnerable, stripped of support, stripped of headlines, stripped of the illusion that a single trip could fix everything. This wasn't a reunion, it was a reality check. And meanwhile, back in California, the bills are stacking. That Montecito mansion doesn't run on hopes and dreams. Security, PR, management, lifestyle, it all costs millions. And with fewer projects and even fewer buyers, the pressure is real. Harry isn't just trying to heal family ties, he's scrambling to keep his empire from collapsing. The media? Oh, they are not holding back. Prince returns to UK, leaves empty-handed, splashed everywhere. And that doesn't just hurt his ego, it kills his brand. Because now, the fairy tale looks less like a brave escape, and more like a botched business move. And maybe that's what stings Harry the most, because he didn't just leave empty-handed, he left exposed. Everything he's built outside the monarchy is under a microscope now, and it's not holding up. Book sales cooled, podcast ventures fizzled. Hollywood, once charmed by the royal rebel, is now whispering, is it even worth it anymore? The charm is dull. The narrative is tired. And in a world obsessed with buzz, Harry isn't creating any. Hollywood loves a comeback. But you know what it loves more? A downfall. Producers who once fought for meetings with the Sussexes are now moving on. There are fresher names, bigger headlines, more bankable faces. Harry and Meghan used to be the story. Now, they're the punchline in someone else's. And Meghan, still missing, still silent, not because she's busy, insiders say. It was calculated. She knows how cold those palace rooms can get, and she wasn't walking back in without control over the narrative. Her absence screamed louder than any words. Harry was alone. And when he walked into those meetings, he wasn't the confident Duke of Sussex anymore. He was a man pitching himself to people who had already decided he was no longer a priority. Let's be clear, no one's taking his titles away. Not yet, but no one's offering him favors either. King Charles isn't bankrolling a second act for a son who spent years tearing down the first. They know the cycle, give him one check, one lifeline, and the headlines turn toxic again. And the public, they're not buying the sympathy anymore. Once they felt sorry for Harry, now they see the contradictions. How can you preach about walking away from royalty while asking it to still fund your life? That question is louder than ever. And the optics were brutal. Solo trip, short meetings, no handshakes, no smiles, just cold, deafening silence. That silence spoke volumes, not just about the palace's stance, but about Harry's standing. There's no trust left, no goodwill, just civil distance. Online, The internet is beasting him. Memes, old clips of him saying he'd never go back are flooding timelines. Comments like, "Guess Netflix stopped paying," and "So much for independence" are getting more likes than sympathy. The ridicule is relentless, and in today's world, perception is power, and Harry is losing it fast. What's left is a man caught between two worlds, unwanted by the one he left and outgrown by the one he tried to join. That kind of limbo, it's deadly. It eats at your relevance. It chips away your image. Unless something changes, Harry might soon find himself without a country, without a cause, and without the spotlight he once commanded effortlessly. The image Harry wanted to project, that of a free man carving his own path, is collapsing under the weight of his contradictions. The more he speaks of healing and independence, the more people see the cracks. It's not anti-monarchy anymore. It's out of options. That's the whisper running through media circles, executive offices, and casual conversations online. He's not coming back to reconnect. He's coming back because he's running out of roads. Once hailed as the brave prince who left it all for love and truth, Harry's now being described in far colder words. Unbankable, bitter, inconsistent. This isn't about royalty anymore. It's about market value. And right now, Harry's value is crashing. The cruel twist, the very institution he rejected is still thriving. The royal family, despite scandals and drama, still commands global relevance because they stand for legacy, ceremony, structure. Harry walked away assuming his voice would matter just as much outside. But outside, there's no crown to cushion the fall, and the fall is steep. Every failed project, every awkward headline, every icy palace encounter adds another crack. People aren't just questioning his credibility now, they're mocking it. The prince who wanted privacy can't stay off camera. The rebel who ran back. The man who said goodbye only to come begging for a do-over. These aren't just tweets, they're the public rewriting his entire story. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Meghan is reportedly strategizing again. New projects, brand makeovers, maybe even more docu-style stories. Hollywood isn't calling, the palace isn't calling, and Meghan, she's not walking beside him, she's plotting quietly, calculating her next move like a chess player, while Harry stands there like the forgotten pawn no one bothers to capture. Once, Harry's name alone could ignite headlines. Now it barely gets clicks unless it's tied to failure. Prince Harry leaves empty-handed isn't just a headline, it's become his label, his brand, his reputation. And you know what's even sadder? Harry tried to build his own crown. Not of gold, not with jewels, but with stories, documentaries, interviews, books, podcasts. He poured every piece of his soul into convincing the world he was free. But now those very stories are haunting him. Every time he speaks about healing, people roll their eyes. Every time he preaches independence, they see the Montecito mansion, the security teams, the luxury, all paid for by the very fame he says he left behind. It's the contradiction that won't go away, the thing eating at his image like rust on a sword. And here's the twist. Even if Harry wanted to mend things now, would the palace even let him? Because forgiveness is emotional, but trust is transactional. And the royal machine doesn't gamble on liabilities. Not twice. Behind those velvet curtains, the palace isn't plotting revenge. They don't need to. They're doing something much colder and much smarter. They're simply moving on without him. William is stepping up as the solid, steady heir. Kate, ever the picture of grace, is winning hearts worldwide. Even Charles, once doubted, has slipped into the king role with surprising ease. The machine is running smoother without Harry, and they know it. To them, Harry isn't a missing piece anymore. He's a loose thread they've decided not to pull. No photo ops, no joint statements, no invitations to stand on the balcony, just polite distance and complete exclusion. And Harry can feel it. That's the part that makes this whole saga so tragic, because you can almost see it on his face now. The weight of knowing he might have burned the only bridge he can't rebuild. There's no place for him at the palace table anymore. There's no place for him in Hollywood's A-list circles either. He's floating between two worlds, and neither one wants to claim him. The fairy tale prince has become the cautionary tale. The boy who had everything, and somehow ended up with nothing but echoes of what he used to be. And Meghan, she's still the strategist. She might find a way to reinvent herself, to pivot, to rebrand. But Harry is the brand, and that brand is sinking. So here we are. The palace gates are closed, Hollywood's doors are closing, and the world that once hung on his every word is now scrolling past without a second glance. He thought leaving would give him control of the story, but the story has slipped out of his hands and into the gossip columns. And now with each quiet day, each missed call, each headline about someone else shining, Harry fades a little more, until one day, maybe soon, the world will stop asking what he's doing and start asking where he went, because sometimes the loudest fall is the one no one even notices.